immunohistochemistry of tissue factor. As you can see, there was low to no staining in the proliferative endometrium. However, tissue factor, which was stained brown, is expressed normally in the secretory endometrial stromal cells, in particular those surrounding the vessels where the trophoblasts would invade. We propose that this phenomenon occurs to prevent hemorrhage if pregnancy occurs in which the trophoblast invades the vasculature. However, once pregnancy occurs, tissue factor is only expressed to the membrane. So we wonder, how does this occur? Then when we did an immunofluorescent antibody to the tissue factor, as you can see from the first picture on the left, this was a control for stromal cells that were grown in vitro. So there was little to no staining. However, when we treated the cells with estrogen and progesterone, as you can see from the picture on the right, there was much more staining. So this means that tissue factor expression follows the menstrual cycle and it is under progestational control. And we also believe that the dark green from the staining on the picture on the right is believed to be the Golgi. So 2 questions that we've come across in this lab is, one, where is tissue factor expressed in the secretory endometrium? And also, how is tissue factor carried to the membrane? So some of the methods that I used this summer was, first of all, immunohistochemistry. And also, I did a lot of Western blots this summer. So the first thing you do with Western blots is, like some other people have talked about, is you lyse the cells in order to get the proteins that you're going to use. And then from there, you perform a protein assay, which is used to obtain the concentration of the protein. And using your results from your protein assay, you then carry out a Western blot, and that's used to identify the protein changes and identify the molecular weight, and also to make sure that your loading is equivalent. So the first time we did immunohistochemical staining for the Golgi, it showed no staining. So therefore, to investigate the specificity of the anti-Golgi antibody, we carried out Western blots. But first, before you do a Western blot, you need to do a protein assay. So I have showed you the results from my first protein assay to show you my progress throughout this summer. So as you can see, my first one was obviously not too good. We have a standard curve, and all the points are supposed to be matched up on the line, however they are not. But after my mentors taught me more techniques, by my third try, I was able to get a much better results for the protein assay, because as you can see, all the points matched up pretty well. So, the first time that we did a Western blot for the Golgi antibody, no bands appeared. So, the second time, we increased the concentration of the primary antibody, and these were the results that we came across. On the left is the standard, and then to the right are the wells in which the proteins were loaded, and it's at a molecular weight of 58 kilodaltons, which is where it should be at. And I also ran a gel for the HSP90, and this is just used as loading control because when you do an HSP90, all the bands should be equal and equivalent. So as you can see from these results, it's at 90 kilodaltons, so it's at the correct molecular weight. So this is how I knew that my results from the Golgi Western blot were accurate. So based on my results from the Western blots I carried out, we increased the amount of antibody for the immunohistochemistry. And these were the results that we got, which we just did last week. So as you can see, on the left is a staining for tissue factor, and on the right is Golgi. They're not the exact sections, but they are similar. The Golgi did stain in some cells, but we cannot assume that they are co-localized because we were not able to match up the exact same sections. But future studies will include immunofluorescent co-staining. So one of the conclusions that I came across by the end of the summer was that in the secretory endometrium, tissue factor appears to be expressed in the Golgi apparatus and in the cytoplasm. So I would like to thank everyone involved in the Discovery to Cure program for the amazing opportunity I was given this summer. I sure am very grateful for it. I would especially like to thank Dr. Moore, obviously, for putting together this entire program with the help of Joanne. And also Dr. Kuhn for letting me into her lab and helping me through this entire summer. And Krista Milano, who helped us a lot with the immunohistochemistry. And also all of the members of my lab, LSOG 406. One of my members is in the back row right now, Amanda. She presented to you guys at one of our lunchtime meetings. And I'd just like to thank everyone for this great experience that I had this summer. Thank you very much.